Okay, we're live. Just doing a little quick video. Went earlier today and saw the Thunderbolts, and I would say up until about 2015, really loving Marvel Comics. You know, anything I could get my hand on. But the all new, all different Marvel, that thing that they kind of put together so that they could add them to the... They wanted to add them to the movies. So they put them in the comic books so they could say, hey, we're pulling from the comics, you chodes. So that's basically kind of where the downfall started. I can't quite put my finger exactly on another point, but you know, I was probably spending 20 to 30 bucks a week just on weekly comics. Like, even still to that point, I was in my 20s. Early 20s, but 20s nonetheless. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Thunderbolts. I really just have fallen almost completely off of Marvel. It's basically anything that comes out that's Disney. Can't really stand. Company that doesn't stand for the same things I stand for. So I just avoid them at all costs. But today I wanted to give the Thunderbolts a try. And I'm going to leave my personal feelings for Sebastian Stan and his giant head out of it. By the way, I'm a man of a giant head as well, so you know, it's like that thing. Oh, I know that thing, so I can talk about it. So his head, it doesn't look that big next to David Harbour, but when you see him in the movie, man, maybe it's the wig he's wearing. I don't know. It looks real weird, but the movie centers, and now this will be spoiler talk because on Thursday when we do our weekly show, I'll try and keep it spoiler free for the YouTube episode. But I wanted to talk a bit about spoilers on specific things. I'm not going to ruin the movie. This guy over here with the blue sweater is Bob, aka the Sentry. Now, if you know anything about the Sentry, he's a character with Superman level strength. So, but there's no kryptonite for Bob. His kryptonite, I guess there is a kryptonite. His kryptonite is bipolar disorder. Yeah. Think about that for a second. So there is a comic book story arc. It's a Marvel crossover. I think it's from like 08, 09. I'm just trying to pull from memory here. Siege Marvel Comics from Dark Reign when Norman Osborn was the Iron Patriot. Let's see. I said 2008, 2009, but it's from January 2010. I was so far off. So Siege sees that Norman Osborn is in control of Asgard. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And Asgard, instead of being up in space, is over Oklahoma? I don't know. Just work with me here. So it's the climax of the Dark Reign storyline, and this is the most specific story I remember featuring the Sentry. And I'm gonna spoil Siege a little bit. Maybe I'll talk about it more in depth on Thursday, but I just want to talk a little bit about it. This is the first time I really understood what the Sentry was all about. Now I'm tying it back into Thunderbolts in a moment, but he's the strongest guy. He's on Norman Osborn's side because he's easily controllable until he's not. And he turns from Sentry into the Void, and he's like this giant Goliath monster thing that I can't really describe without... I'm trying to scroll through and see if maybe it's in here. But essentially, he loses it. He loses all control. He takes Hercules, I believe it's Hercules, and he rips him in half and then completely loses all control. So he ends up being like the big bad of the story. So with Thunderbolts, you see Bob, he's in this little coffin thing when they first find him. And I'm like, come on. Let this be an overarching story. The Sentry's such an interesting character that he honestly could be the big bad of the like full Avengers movies because he's so unstoppable. Stronger than Superman, Thanos definitely without the Infinity Gauntlet. You know, any of these characters they've had before, He probably could 1v1 Galactus, if we're being honest. But they do this thing where Bob starts to get controlled by the bad guys in the Thunderbolts, and he starts to lose. They follow that similar type of story arc. And I'm like, please don't make him the big bad in this, and don't kill him off straight away. Now, spoilers, they do make him the big bad, but they don't kill him off. So hopefully, at the end of the movie, the post-credits sequence, they say that they're going to bring him back. So hopefully, we're going to see that sort of transformation at some point, because it's so damn cool. Scary, but cool. And I hope the CGI is a little bit better. We've had some rough... It's weird, because it felt like the CGI in the older Avengers movies was better than recent, but I don't know. Like, if you look at Thor, I think Thor 4 and Ant-Man 3, oh my goodness, the CGI is so bad and lazy. Like, you guys made billions of dollars. How is this what you're putting out? But that's neither here nor there. So altogether, the main character in the movie, I guess you can say there are 6 main characters, but the main character is Florence Pugh as Yelena. And then, surprisingly, the second main focused character is Lewis Pullman's Sentry. So, it's... in terms of post-Endgame Marvel movies, it's one of the better ones, for sure. And I guess if you want to count Deadpool as the MCU, it's probably second or third best, because there's not much to pick from, if we're being honest. But if you remove Deadpool, I don't count Deadpool. It's obviously a Marvel movie, but I don't count it as an MCU movie, because they kind of just picked it up in the middle and let Deadpool do its own thing. Clearly, if you've seen Deadpool. But it just feels like they had a little bit more of a focus. They do right a wrong from the Black Widow movie. I won't tell you what that is. Talk about that more on Thursday. I was very happy about it. The movie's pretty weird. It's pretty decent. David Harbour has a couple of horribly, awfully timed jokes. There were people in the theater. It was pretty good. I would say probably 60% filled. And there was a section of people that were laughing at basically everything. But there was one joke towards the end that's so cringy that silence fell over not one person that I could hear in the theater laughed, and you could feel it. It's like that thing. It's like if you watch an Impractical Jokers punishment that's just too cringy to bear. It was like that. It was like you could feel it crawling up your spine. It was terrible. If he would tone it down, well, if the direction from the director, producers, writers, whoever, would tone his character down like 15%, he'd be the best character in the movie. He's too over the top. That's my problem with him. I love the actor, and I do like the character, but they just... it reminds me of when they did the Groot thing, and one of the reasons that I don't like the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie is that they thought, oh, people like Groot, he's cute, he was dancing in the little clay pot at the end of Guardians 1 after they thought he'd been lost, you know. So in Guardians 2, instead of showing the awesome fight, they just show Groot dancing, and then the background is fuzzy of the other Guardians fighting, and then it's just... They leaned into it a little too hard. So if apparently the Thunderbolts will be back, they'll probably be called the New Avengers specifically. There will probably be Avengers and New Avengers, which is good. Because that's another thing. The Thunderbolts, they call it the Thunderbolts because of General Thunderbolt Ross, who they took and put into Captain America 4, whatever the Sam Wilson one was. I think the Red Hulk, honestly, would have been a very interesting, based on what I know from the comics. I haven't seen Captain America 4. based on what I know about the character, would have been a very interesting character to have in this, like, in with this group. So it's kind of a shame he wasn't in that. But anyways, back to the beginning. Yeah. It's a fun movie. I had a good time, and so let me wrap this up this way. I had a good time, and I go into it with not the best attitude, having been jaded for so long with Marvel. So if you can take that for what you will, if you liked Guardians, you'll probably like this because it's just a ragtag group. If you like Suicide Squad, it's a little more, it's better than Suicide Squad because the Suicide Squad characters are kind of lame, you know, with the exception of John Cena, even though his costume's very lame. But yeah, it's fun. The ghost lady can get annoying because all she does is complain, but they kind of pull it together at the end. So I do recommend seeing it. 3.8 out of 5 seems, yeah, that seems about right. That's a 7.6 out of 10. That's about right. Here for this one. So we're only through Friday here, and I believe this was opening day. I think it was that opening Thursday. It made 11.5 million. Can't exactly tell. May 1st, yes. So that's only Thursday numbers. Doesn't include Friday. I'm hoping it does pretty well because I don't root for Disney in any stretch of the imagination at any point ever. But this movie was enjoyable enough to where if they keep it contained, a sequel would be very welcome. I just don't want them to flood it with all these new characters and more annoying characters and things like that. So I'm gonna keep a positive thought about this movie.